Welcome to Talk Commerce. Today I have Dave Malda from Jitterbit. In this episode, we'll be talking about the top tech conferences in the United States and how they are shaping the future of technology. We also chat about ChatGPT, a powerful language model trained by OpenAI, which can answer any question you may have on a wide range of topics. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of tech conferences and ChatGPT. Have you heard of the Hoofa theme for Magento? It is a powerful yet intuitive theme that has been designed to help Magento store owners create the perfect online store. With the Hoofa theme, you can create a store that is unique and engaging while taking advantage of the latest technology that will make your site blazing fast. The theme is built with a modern, responsive design that is optimized for maximum performance and usability. You can easily achieve Google Lighthouse scores of 10. It is also fully customizable, allowing you to adjust its look and feel to fit your brand. Overall, the Hoofa theme is the best choice for any Magento site. It is easy to set up and customize, and it provides powerful features to help you create a successful online store. Plus, it is designed to work seamlessly with your existing Magento store, so you can take advantage of its powerful features and tools. With the Hoofa theme, you can create a beautiful, engaging, and successful Magento site. Go to hyva.io to learn more. That's hyva.io, and tell them that Talk Commerce sent you.
Are you interested in AI content generation, but you don't know where to start? Have you tried ChatGPT and found it doesn't work, or you don't even know what to do with the results? Have you had problems starting your marketing campaign or started and lost momentum? When was the last time you have a blog post live on your website? My friends at Content Basis have a fantastic offer for you. They use predictive analytics to find content opportunities that will perform on your website. They leverage those opportunities using machine learning and humans to create content that outperforms any other content you've seen before. They don't stop there. They have 2 human editors reviewing your content before it goes live. Once your content is live, they create 10 social posts on each of those content pages that was just launched. Finally, they work with you to see how those posts are performing and what they can do to add, change, or update the posts in the future. Content Basis is putting the human into your content marketing and your content automation. But don't take my word for it. Look at what Content Basis has been doing for Talk Commerce for the last 4 months. Content Basis is currently accepting beta candidates for WordPress, BigCommerce, and Shopify. Go to contentbasis.io. That's contentbasis.io, and learn how you can create marketing strategies that work into the future. My name is Brent Peterson, and I'm your host. Please remember to subscribe wherever you download your podcasts. And now, Talk Commerce. Welcome to Talk Commerce. Today I have Dave Malda with Jitterbit. Dave is my 3rd Canadian guest this week. It is not, I should have a show of just Canadians. Anyways, Dave, go ahead, introduce yourself, tell us your day-to-day role and one of your passions in life.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Brent. Thanks for having me. And so I am a sales director here at Jitterbit, specifically for EDI and e-commerce integrations. I have a long history of doing 10 plus years and quite enjoy it. And I would say one passion of mine that most people probably don't know about is I love bonsais. So, either taking something that is say a juniper tree that's a regular size, pruning it and trimming it into a bonsai, and then watching that grow, of course, over many, many years. So that's one hobby that I enjoy.
Wow. Okay. So I was just in Tokyo a couple weeks ago, and they have, obviously, bonsai is very popular there, but they do have, in the main square in front of the palace, there's an imperial palace, they have all kinds of pine trees, and they are very well sculpted, and not like a round one like we would think, but sort of like a bonsai, but full size.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
Super interesting, yeah. And so not to get us sidetracked too far, but
The palace used to be on the ocean, and in the 1700s, there was some mountains in Tokyo, in the city itself, and they just literally took down the mountains and filled in the ocean. So there's a whole part where there's support in Tokyo, and it's all man-made, but it's been man-made for 400 years. It's amazing.
Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah, it's bonsai is just this fun. I started it in my sort of teenage years, and just what I really like is the ability to take something and almost make like a miniature scene out of it, right? So a miniature tree with maybe a cliff and the roots exposed, and it's hard to do, but it's slow going, and it's every little prune you make has an impact on the future, right? So it's kind of like life and your decisions you make, right? You have to be careful where you prune.
Yeah, I've been doing it with poison ivy, and I give it out as gifts to my people that I'm not so happy with. It's a joke, of course. Come on.
Love it.
All right, so we are going to jump really quick into the free joke, and the free joke project Dave has been on a long time ago as just a free joke project. But today he's part of a broader interview, and we have a very important joke that I'm going to tell today. So, Dave, all you have to do is say, should this joke remain free, or can we connect it via EDI to some third-party system?
Oh, I like that. Okay.
All right, here we go. I received a flyer on anger management the other day. I lost it.
I think we could do EDI with that one, to tell you the truth, you know?
I absolutely love that your response when you're just like, oh, God, seriously? All right.
That's good.
So we met in person at NRF. I don't know if we had met before. Did we? Or we met at maybe even earlier at eTail East.
Yeah, and there was a Magento show in New York that we met at.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Good. All right. So we're going to just talk a little bit about what are the upcoming shows coming up this year. Which ones are like must-haves for people in sales and partnerships, and then we're going to close out a little bit of ChatGPT 4, which I've been playing with today.
Perfect. Yeah, I think, what's interesting, Brent, and I think, you've probably gone down this path over the years too, you and the team. I have found that, events are just so critical. Sometimes the view can be, hey, you know what, we don't do events. We don't, see a real ROI on it. And other times you can see companies maybe do all sorts of events, right? Like almost like that's all they do. And I think there's this healthy balance where you can pick some sort of key strategic events. The old IRCE, which I think is now called RICE, or the RICE, I think, in Chicago. That was one that we always loved going to, because you had agencies, you had the tech partners, you had some merchants mixed in, but it really was like quite a pool of folks that, you kind of had a one-stop shop. If you were going to do one show, that was kind of the one that had grown fairly big, and you could meet up with everybody and anybody that you really needed to connect with, right? And I think at Jitterbit, what we've done is this sort of hybrid approach to, doing some smaller, more intimate, I'll call them, shows with the retail summits, right? So for example, there's one today in Atlanta, and we have a colleague, a teammate there from Jitterbit that's attending that. Big commerce is there, Shopware is there, there's some agencies there. There's a lot of larger merchants that are local to Atlanta that are there. So we have found that approach, Brent, has really worked for us to stay connected to our partners, but then also to kind of have our ear to the ground on some of the topics that are out there, right? So Patrick, who is there representing us, was texting me earlier saying, SMS is really blowing up, or, the open rates and just the things that companies are doing with SMS and with some of the other kind of new sales channels is incredible, right? And so you kind of get your ear to the ground on what's happening with these companies. Where are they struggling? Where are they seeing some successes? And have found those smaller shows to work really well for that. Another one that we're going to that's coming up is Shop Talk. So obviously a lot larger. I think you've gone to that one probably in the past too, I would imagine.
Yeah, so I first time last year I went to Shop Talk, and again this year I have a conflict, so I can't go. But Man, it's a fantastic event, and it's one of those where you talked about must goes. I think IRCE or turned into RICE, and next year they're going to call it NOODLE, I guess. That used to be the go-to event. That IRCE used to have 25,000 people, and it was very segmented. And then they combined it, but anyways. Yeah. It was a great event, and you're exactly right. We've been doing our IRCE since 2017, and we've always had a ROI out of it.
Yep. Yeah. So Shop Talk, our goal is to, head there. I think I don't remember the attendance. I have the list though, and it's very impressive who goes there. You have some big retailers, and then you have some startups, and you've got everybody in between, right? And it's kind of nice just, again, to have that kind of one-stop shop. Vegas is not that far for most folks, right? So it's easy to get to. And again, you can kind of set up your meetings and work the floor and make sure you meet up with the people you need to meet up with. So that's another one we have on our, on our radar. And later in the year, there's a couple of ShipStation University events that we're going to be going to as well, which I really like. I mean, I love ShipStation. And I think just the what they put on with that university is so helpful. We've had a few here in our backyard, just in Toronto. There happens to be one in Nashville, I think, in a month or two that we're going to head to. So that is on our roadmap for attending. And again, a bit of a different venue, but, ear to the ground, understanding where the pain points are, where are the gaps where we can help. And sometimes it doesn't have to be integration. It doesn't have to be ERP integration, something that we do. It can maybe just be helping a merchant, in the direction of, maybe selecting an agency or, right? I kind of like, I always, share with our team as well, like let's be the sort of the general contractor, if you will, right? Where we're helping folks, like, if they're new or even if they're just looking for something, let's help them find it. Let's make sure they don't have to struggle with it. And if we can recommend something or cut down that time of discovery, then let's do it, right? And even if there's, quote unquote, nothing in it for us, right? I think that's kind of important in life, to just help in general.
Yeah, I think you brought up some good points too about why attend. You get a lot out of the ShipStation University. Last year I went to Shop Talk and I attended a lot of the talks. Instead of making sure I had enough business booked or meetings set, I didn't go into it thinking, hey, I'm going to just set up a bunch of meetings. I was able to see a lot of the talks, and it was very interesting, and you do get an idea of what the trends are doing. And, I think a lot of those talks are either the very beginning of the trend or right in the middle of where we're at, and it's time to get on board if somebody's at Shop Talk talking about it, right?
Yeah, really great point, actually, right? Time to get on board. There's almost some trends that you can catch early on, right, at shows like that.
Yeah, because there's going to be certain things that you're going to be over the hump, right? And typically people aren't talking about after the fact. Like, they're not saying, hey, this new hot thing, this ChatGPT, hey, get on, like, it's done, right? No, that's started. We should be seeing everything that we can see about how that's going to help us be better in our jobs. And I'm already seeing, I'm in that early beta program for GPT-4, and there's opportunities for how it can help connect. So think about what you're doing with EDI, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, machine learning is going to help to finish connecting all those dots. Right, so maybe somebody just gets that pipe connected, but then you just say to the AI, "Hey, in human language, I would like my product system to be connected to the ERP product system or whatever, right?" And since the machine already knows all those connection points, it just goes and does it for you. You don't have you're not going to have a developer necessarily having to do that. Maybe there'll be developer helping to do that and then testing it, but a lot of those things are going to happen automatically, and a lot of things that we don't think about are going to happen automatically. I was at Meet Magenta, Florida a couple of weeks ago, and I saw Mark Schust give a great presentation on machine learning, and he just gave some simple CLI commands where it spit out the correct syntax for a CLI for Magento like adding an admin user, which if you do it from the CLI, it's a really long string. You got to get all this stuff in order. Man, it was doing it right, and it was spitting out stuff in a way that you should see it.
Yeah.
So there's so much that's happening right now, and that's a great example of what we're going to be seeing at these conferences. But in the same respect, we're going to see SMS. We're going to see all kinds of new things. And if you are that agency owner sitting, or even partnership manager or technology provider, sitting in your office in Minneapolis or Toronto or Grand Forks or wherever you happen to be,
yep,
and you're not going out to see what's out there, or you're trying to just run your business and not see what other people are doing, you're going to miss out.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I think there's, just so much good to come out of, just meeting people in person. And it's kind of a different vibe too. Like I even feel like I know you better because I've met you personally, right? There are other folks that I know of that I haven't necessarily met. And it is just a different, I think there's always this agreement, or maybe this is just me, but I feel like there's always this agreement of, folks are leaving their homes and their families and coming to an event for a couple of days, right? And that takes commitment, and you're both there doing that. And I think there's like a mutual respect, or at least that's the way I feel like, you're into it. You're kind of all into it when you're at these shows, right? You're kind of, whatever you want to call it, going that extra mile to meet folks, and it can help even, differentiate you a little bit between maybe someone that is, online and doing a lot there, but doesn't really, let's say, get out, right? So, I think it's important.
Yeah, think about the difference between you and I meeting together, and then some guy from Hoboken, Montana, who doesn't leave his. I'm from Montana, so I can badmouth Montana, and there's no Hoboken. Well, there might be a Hoboken anyway that you've never met. So you and I meet. We meet at ETAIL in Boston, and now we have a relationship. And suddenly I have this client. Oh, I've got this client A that needs to connect their dots, or they need a new EDI provider, or whatever. They need a
Yep.
Jitterbit is way more than EDI, right? So they need to connect the systems.
Yeah.
Am I going to think of Joe in West Yellowstone, Montana, or am I going to think of Dave? I'm going to think of the person that I've met in person, and we've created a relationship.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. I think so. That that's a little bit just of the the shows that we're heading to, Brent. And I think your comment about the ChatGPT and just how sort of fast that's evolving. Like I just saw a tweet from Shopify. Looks like they released that shop.ai site, which is, again, pretty cool. Like I'm looking for a dining set, right, for our deck. And so, it's hopefully spring comes around here in Toronto in the next 30 days or so. Snow can melt and start to see some green grass, and I want to get outside. So I went there, I logged in, and I typed in, 5-seat dining table for a deck. And then it asked me a couple of questions, like, what's your budget? I'm like, okay, like $1,500. And right, it says, oh, here you go. Like, what color do you want? And here's a bunch of options. I'm like, man, that was like probably 5 seconds of my life, and some really great visuals, very easy to use. And I just like the interaction. Like it's a different type of searching. It's very intelligent, and it doesn't always spit out maybe necessarily what you're looking for, but it asks the right questions, and it's pretty impressive. So
I was on a talk with Big Commerce on a Twitter space, and their head of strategy, Aaron Sheehan, brought up this idea of having intelligent tagging, and I just also heard a talk about deep tagging, but having a bot that knows everything about that product and that can tell you everything about that product in a chat format that's conversational, but then also can recommend something else to that. So if you think about where we're going, that chatbots are great, right? And eventually you need to talk to a real human, because at some point you have to say, hey, I need an operator. You're, like when you're in the call tree, you're just hitting 0 because no, I need to talk to somebody. But I think what you're talking about in like how layered navigation works on a typical e-commerce site, you can use that same thing in a chat format, or even a voice format where you're going to speak it. Say you're on your mobile phone, you're going to say, hey, I'd like a 5-piece dining room set, and they're going to spit back whatever you're looking for. And even better if they know a little bit about you. If let's say you're on Amazon, and I would imagine Amazon will be one of the people that really leverage this, that they're going to give you this even more of what you want based on your previous purchases.
Yes. Yeah. And I love all that stuff, Brent, because I find when it's helpful, right, then I have no issue with it, right? Like if they know all my past purchases and they're able to find something really great based on my likes, I mean, that just hits the mark for me, right? So yeah, pretty wild times. And I'm with Shop Talk coming up at the end of March. I think there's going to be a lot of ChatGPT chatter, let's call it that.
Yeah, I bet. Because last year at Shop Talk, it was barely a thing.
Yeah, I can't remember what the buzz was last year, but it wasn't ChatGPT, that's for sure.
No, and I'll say that I've been signing up like crazy for every one of these engines that does content creation, and I'm trying them all out.
Yep.
And a year ago it was complete garbage.
Yep.
I even have a project where I'm producing images of Jack Russells that were painted by famous painters. And
that's awesome.
when I first started, it didn't even give me a Jack Russell.
Okay.
And now, DALL-E 2 just came out. Man, it's amazing. It'll give you a dog that is sitting on the lap of Betsy Ross, painted by Gilbert or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's a fantastic way of being creative, because think about a painter, right? Now you're being a word painter because you need to know the right prompts to get what you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, very impressive. So, yeah, that's a little bit about what's coming up and kind of what we're doing at Jitterbit, Brent.
Great. So Dave and I have agreed that we're going to work on this list, and I'm going to post it on Talk Commerce of all the events coming up, and we'll try to have a running tally.
Yes.
And Dave didn't actually agree to it. I just thought about that
did.
now that we should do that.
Do it.
And I don't know of anywhere that has a complete list of all the different tech conferences. So
yeah, I don't know.
I'll work on a blog post that has a running list of every tech commerce that we can possibly think of, and I'll keep it updated with the last date known or something.
I love it. When I leave this call, I'm going to go to ChatGPT and type in, please give me all of the e-commerce shows in the next 6 months, and I'll see what that throws up.
That's awesome. But, you also want a little bit more than e-commerce, because you want to have logistics too, right? Like Jitterbit is more than just e-commerce, because you want to have logistical things.
Yeah, we definitely are. 20-second kind of overview is lots of experience with EDI and e-commerce integrations, right? So, BigCommerce, Magento, Shopify, Channel Advisor. Think of all the major kind of players. We have been in that space for more than 10 years. EDI, we've been in the space for more than 27 years. But also we have a whole other arm of the business that takes care of, HR integration and payroll integration and all these different systems that we can connect to. So there really isn't, a platform or a system, Brent, that we cannot connect to, right? We have a new product that we purchased called App Builder, and that allows companies to build little apps within their IT sort of infrastructure and security, right? So it's a very cool, brand new product that we're bringing to market. And, it's something that, on the e-commerce side, I feel like this is more than 20 seconds, by the way. I'm going on a rant now. The app builder on the e-commerce side, I could see huge advantages with agencies who are building one-off little apps, perhaps pulling data from different sources to share, some type of marketing report or some kind of sales report for companies, right? And App Builder, would be a great utility for something like that kind of a use case. So yeah, there is a ton that we do. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy, like, every day is a different day, and it's complex enough that it really keeps you on your toes. And there's excitement in helping these businesses, ultimately create a great either employee or customer experience by connecting all that data, right? So
yeah, absolutely. All right, so I'm going to work on getting this live by Saturday. So then, because I'll be in Las Vegas next week, pre-summit, There's a
Okay.
reimagined thing that's happening, and I'm putting on the little damn run. We used to do the big damn run, but it's Monday morning, March 20th is the little damn run.
Love it.
So I'm going to post this on Saturday. So now I'm committing myself to doing that. And then you and I are gonna collaborate on this global list of all the
Yep.
possible conferences, and it'll be Talk Commerce / conference list or something like that, and somewhere we can all see what's happening out there. And Dave, I hope. Oh, actually, you know what? You got to do your shameless plug. Go ahead and do your shameless plug, and then we'll close things out.
Yeah, I don't remember what the shameless plug was for.
You can do anything you want.
Anything I want. You know what? I mean, I'm going to say it's Jitterbit. I think that we're a business that is a global business now. So we have different regions. Obviously, I'm in North America, and then we've got EMEA, APAC, and LATAM. We made an acquisition last year in LATAM, a company that was called Wavo, and they just folded under the Jitterbit brand actually this week. And so lots of exciting things happening, lots of growth happening. And, lots of change, but in a good way. And I'm just excited. I'm excited for my team, and I'm mostly excited, going into this e-commerce market with a quiver full of tools to help, right? And so, hopefully that doesn't sound too corny, but that is definitely what gets me up in the morning and drives me is, helping these businesses and helping these agencies with, the tricky integrations and different, things gaps they need to fill, we're there to help. So that's my shameless plug for Jitterbit.
That's awesome. Thanks, Dave. And I look forward to seeing you at some conference coming up into the future.
It will happen. Yep. Likewise.
Thank you for making it to the end of this episode of Talk Commerce. Please rate this episode wherever you download your podcasts. We are actively looking for people to participate in the Free Joke Project. Go to talk-commerce.com and sign up for your free spot on the Free Joke Project. If you are a business, I will do a 30-second elevator pitch in the spot to help promote your business. That's talk-commerce.com.